And the figure was, how am I going to make Jean into the most important and significant writer in the history of our time? And she was very much afraid that he was going to be passed by time. And she was absolutely determined that it wouldn't happen.
In the spring of 1955, less than 18 months after her husband's death, Carlotta put into motion plans to have Long Day's Journey into Night published and performed, over the strenuous objections of his longtime publisher, Bennett Cerf of Random House.
Yes, of course she betrayed him, but on the other hand, I think he expected her to. He gave her everything. He made her his executrix. He had cut his children out of his will. He gave her all his plays and everything. And he knew her character. He knew exactly what kind of person she was. And I think he had a fairly good idea that the minute he was gone, she would publish Long Day's Journey into Night.
On the night of November 7th, 1956, the curtain rose on the first American production of Long Day's Journey into Night. When the lights dimmed to black and the final curtain fell, most members of the audience were in tears.
At the end, the curtain came down. We came out to take our calls. Silence. Silence. And then it went. Then it boom. Tremendous applause. Everybody got on their feet. And the thing that was, we were standing there, we were taking a couple, three, I don't know how many calls we were doing. You lose track. And then the audience started to come to the stage. This is what I've never had before. Or since they came down to the stage. They were all looking up, and we were standing there looking down in the faces of people that we knew or didn't know. It was absolutely incredible.
In the end, Long Day's Journey into Night would prove to be the unforgettable theatrical event of the season, reviving O'Neill's faltering reputation and bringing him posthumously an unprecedented fourth Pulitzer.
This is a great playwright. If just this one play, his life was a tragedy, it made it worth making tragedies from, I guess. Is it confessional? Not in the self-pitying way that so many pieces of work are, I think. And when they transcend those selfish limitations, then maybe they become classics, something worth a great deal forever. Monuments, as Yeats called them, of the ages, unaging monuments of intellect and art.
You've just told me some high spots in your memories. Want to hear mine? They're all connected with the sea. Here's one. When I was on the square-head square rigger bound for Buenos Aires. Full moon in the trades, the old hooker driving 14 knots.
In the climactic fourth act of Long Day's Journey into Night, in one of the most beautiful and quietly moving passages O'Neill ever wrote, Edmund struggles to put into words the ephemeral sense of connection with something larger that had sometimes come over him while at sea.
I was on the square-head square rigger, bound for Buenos Aires. Full moon in the trades, the old hooker driving 14 knots. I lay on the bowsprit, facing astern, the water foaming into spume under me, the masts, with every sail white in the moonlight, towering high above me. I became drunk with the beauty and singing rhythm of it. And for a moment, I lost myself, actually lost my life. I was set free. I dissolved in the sea, became white sails and flying spray, became beauty and rhythm, became moonlight and the ship and the high, dim-starred sky. I belonged, without past or future, within peace and unity and a wild joy, within something greater than my own life or the life of man, to life itself, to God, if you want to put it that way. And several other times in my life, when I was swimming far out or lying alone on a beach, I have had the same experience. Became the sun, the hot sand, green seaweed anchored to a rock swaying in the tide, like a saint's vision of beatitude, like the veil of things as they seem, drawn back by an unseen hand, and for a second you see. And seeing the secret, you are the secret. For a second, there is meaning. Then the hand lets the veil fall, and you are alone, lost in the fog again. And you stumble on towards nowhere for no good reason. It was a great mistake, my being born a man. I would have been much more successful as a seagull or a fish. As it is, I will always be a stranger who never feels at home, who does not really want and is not really wanted, who can never belong, who must always be a little in love with death.
Well, there's that beautiful moment in Long Day's Journey when Edmund begins to reflect on the time when he was at